North Korea is the most mysterious country in the world, known for its aggressive stance with nuclear weapons, its stubbornness in political relations with the United States, and the harshness of its communist regime. The global media is largely barred from accessing this nation, making information about North Korea always intriguing to the public. Recently, several North Koreans who successfully defected to the neighboring country of South Korea have revealed a series of shocking truths about their homeland. Among these revelations, what has particularly outraged the media are the 10 harsh laws that North Korean women are forced to comply with by their government. Among them, the third law nearly strips them of all their human rights, something that should not exist in a democratic society in 2024 and seems like something that could only appear in movies. Number 1. North Korean women are forced into sexual service for state leaders. In a shocking revelation, North Korean defectors have recently shed light on a secretive high-end entertainment industry that has reportedly existed for over a decade. According to these sources, the North Korean government established a group known as the Kipumjo, or Pleasure Group, composed primarily of young women and girls, some as young as 13, to serve the nation's top leaders. This has shocked the public, the international media, and human rights organizations. The selection process for this group is said to be rigorous and begins at an early age. Military officials reportedly start screening girls as young as 9, focusing on physical appearance. Those initially chosen undergo further testing at ages 13 to 15 before final selection. The criteria are strict. Candidates must be virgins with a clean background, stand at least 1.65 meters tall, have no physical blemishes or scars, and possess a soft feminine voice. Once selected, these young women allegedly undergo specialized training. Some are sent to Hong Kong for professional massage instruction, while others receive education in singing, dancing, and music theory. The entertainment team is said to be divided into 3 main service groups: those providing sexual services, those specializing in massage, and those performing singing and dancing. Defectors describe the operation of this entertainment team as highly secretive, with the young women almost entirely isolated from society. In many cases, families are kept in the dark about their daughters' whereabouts, only being told that they were chosen for important government projects. From the moment of their selection, these girls are reportedly cut off from all contact with their relatives. The most famous revelation about this inhumane program of the North Korean government came from a woman named Mi Hyang, who defected to South Korea in 2010. In an interview with Marie Claire magazine, she recounted her experience of being selected at age 15. Mi Hyang described how 2 soldiers in blue uniforms abruptly entered her classroom and conducted a search. She was then taken away for a series of personal and medical examinations, including an intrusive gynecological check to confirm her virginity. This alleged practice, if true, represents a disturbing exploitation of young women and girls in North Korea. It raises serious concerns about human rights violations and the treatment of women in the secretive state. No one knows the suffering these poor North Korean girls and women have endured, or the tasks they were forced to perform to meet the needs of the high-ranking communist leaders. This may also be one of the reasons why North Korea insists on secrecy, ensuring that no information leaks out of the country. Number 2. North Korean women are not allowed to drive cars. In a world where the sight of women driving cars has become commonplace, North Korea stands as a stark exception. Across the entire country, it's said that you won't find a single woman who knows how to drive. This isn't due to lack of interest or ability, but rather a result of a government prohibition deeply rooted in the nation's feudal history. In this fictional portrayal of North Korean society, women are still viewed as intellectually inferior and occupy a lower social status. The use of modern technology such as phones, computers, or the internet is depicted as being largely off-limits to women. Driving a car, in this context, is considered an unattainable luxury for them. Even if this hypothetical ban were to be lifted, the impact might be minimal due to the scarcity of vehicles in the country. North Korea, with a population of 25 million, is said to have only about 30,000 vehicles in total, of which a mere 5,000 are passenger cars. This statistic would make North Korea the country with the lowest car ownership rate in the world. The story suggests that most of these few cars are owned by high-ranking officials or the military, further limiting the average citizens, especially women's, access to vehicles. This scarcity of automobiles, combined with the supposed driving prohibition, creates a situation where the concept of a North Korean woman behind the wheel seems almost unimaginable. This fact paints a picture of a society where gender inequality is extreme and deeply ingrained, affecting even basic freedoms such as the ability to drive. It serves as a stark contrast to the reality in most other parts of the world, highlighting how restrictive and isolated North Korea is portrayed to be. Number 3. North Korean women have very limited access to products like condoms and sanitary pads. It's hard to believe, but most North Koreans are unaware that condoms even exist. Common personal care items, such as condoms and sanitary pads, are virtually unknown to most citizens due to stringent import restrictions imposed by the government. These products briefly appeared on the black market a few decades ago, coinciding with a period of population growth. However, they never gained widespread popularity. North Korea says that condoms are now almost impossible to obtain, as they are deemed unnecessary in this society. In addition to condoms, sanitary pads are also products that remain out of reach for the majority of North Korean women. In North Korea, women are said to rely on reusable cloth towels during their menstrual periods, washing and reusing them out of necessity. Disposable sanitary napkins are not available in convenience stores, a stark contrast to much of the modern world. This report also touches on the supposed lack of education about pregnancy prevention. The story suggests that the government actively discourages such knowledge, instead promoting a pro-natalist policy. Despite widespread poverty, this regime is said to have encouraged population growth for the past 50 years, viewing children as future military recruits and a source of cheap labor. As a result, the report describes large families as the norm, with each typically having between 3 to 7 children. Women who become pregnant are said to have little choice but to carry the pregnancy to term. Abortion is not only illegal, but could result in imprisonment and severe social discrimination. Number 4. Women are banned from riding bicycles in the city. In some confidential reports on the social situation in North Korea, even the simple act of riding a bicycle in the city is depicted as being off-limits for women. The story suggests that this unusual ban was implemented by the late President Kim Jong-il in the 1990s, following a tragic incident involving a high-ranking official's daughter. According to this narrative, the catalyst for the ban was the death of Oh Hae-young, daughter of General Oh Duk-ryol, deputy of the National Defense Commission. The tale recounts that she was fatally struck by a car while cycling in central Pyongyang. In response to this tragedy, the government supposedly issued a sweeping ban, prohibiting all women from riding bicycles in North Korean cities. The story goes on to describe additional measures implemented alongside this ban. A bicycle registration system was reportedly established, requiring all bicycles to display registered numbers. Those caught violating these regulations in Pyongyang face fines ranging from 1,500 to 5,000 won, approximately 0.40 to 180 USD at the time. Repeat offenders, it said, risk having their bicycles confiscated. Moreover, state-run educational programs on television reinforced the idea that a woman wearing a skirt while riding a bicycle was contrary to socialist norms. The narrative describes public signs erected throughout the country, declaring that women cycling in skirts goes against national customs. It is indeed a harsh reality regarding the transportation options available to women in North Korean society. With poverty limiting access to cars or motorcycles and bicycles, the most affordable option, supposedly off-limits, women are portrayed as having extremely limited mobility. Number 5. North Korean women are forbidden from wearing jeans. In the realm of fashion, the line between beautiful and ugly, appropriate or inappropriate, often varies depending on individual perspectives. However, citizens in North Korea are subject to government control over fashion and are not free to wear the clothes they like. According to accounts from defectors, the North Korean government enforces strict laws dictating what citizens can and cannot wear. This regime is depicted as leaving no room for personal expression or debate when it comes to fashion choices. Visitors and tourists to this hypothetical North Korea would find themselves in a world where clothing options are severely limited and controlled. One of the most striking elements of this dress code is the supposed ban on jeans. Jeans are portrayed as symbols of Western imperialism, and their wear is strictly prohibited for North Korean women. The story suggests that the consequences for violating this ban are severe, ranging from hefty fines to imprisonment for 7 to 10 years, or even forced labor in work camps. A woman seen wearing jeans on the street might face not only official punishment, but also social ostracism and even physical violence from socialist fanatics. As a result, people are extremely outraged that North Korea is a society where personal choice in clothing hardly exists, and where seemingly innocuous fashion items can carry severe consequences. It serves as a stark contrast to the freedom of expression through fashion that is taken for granted in many parts of the world. Number 6. North Korean women have to work more but hold a lower social status than men. Despite being considered inferior to men, North Korean women are the main economic pillars of their families. While men work in low-paying government jobs or serve in the military, women are forced to make a living by trading on the black market. According to many confidential reports, North Korean men typically work in state agencies, earning a meager salary of about 20,000 to 60,000 won per month, barely enough to buy 10 kilon of rice, which costs around 25,000 won. Like many Asian countries, has traditionally been male-dominated. Men are said to make up the majority of the official workforce and hold most leadership positions. Only a few women in high-ranking positions are typically related to the leader Kim Jong-un, such as his sister Kim Yo-jong or his aunt Kim Kyung-hui. However, the paradox is that women have to take on a more prominent role in financially supporting their families. According to statistics from the Korea Institute for National Unification, a South Korean government agency, women's income accounts for over 70% of household earnings in North Korea. This income is primarily generated through unofficial channels, such as trading on the black market. These markets, though not officially recognized, have been described as thriving in recent years. Meanwhile, most working-age men are stuck in low-paying state jobs or serving in the military, placing the economic burden mainly on their wives and mothers. North Korea categorizes its citizens into 51 different social classes and uses this classification system as a tool for social and political discrimination from birth. According to a 131-page report by the North Korean Human Rights Commission, all North Koreans are classified based on criteria such as loyal, wavering, or hostile from the moment they are born, depending on their perceived loyalty to the regime. Among the 51 classes, there are poor farmers and patriotic families considered loyal. On the other hand, those identified as hostile include supporters of the US, government officials, and Muslims. This policy allows the Kim regime to prioritize or deprioritize all social benefits, job opportunities, housing programs, and food distribution according to the pre-assigned status of each individual. Number 7. Beauty is not a matter of personal choice, but of state control. The government has implemented a comprehensive set of beauty laws with dozens of provisions dictating every aspect of a woman's appearance, including their hairstyles. Tradition favors long, neat hairstyles, which are considered the epitome of beauty. Any hairstyle deemed too ostentatious or individualistic is frowned upon and may land you in hot water with the authorities. In fact, the North Korean government has decreed that women are permitted to choose from only 15 approved hairstyles. Dyeing one's hair, regardless of the color, is strictly forbidden. Failure to conform to these rigid standards isn't merely a fashion faux pas, it's a crime against the state. Those who dare to express themselves through unauthorized hairstyles risk imprisonment for subverting the socialist regime. To ensure compliance, illustrations of the 15 approved hairstyles for both men and women are prominently displayed in hair salons across the country. These serve as a constant reminder of the narrow confines within which personal expression is allowed. The most fashionable hairstyle is the one worn by the country's leader. That's why most men prefer to have their hair cut like Kim Jong-un's. Women often get bob cuts because Kim Jong-un believes it suits North Korean women. In a chilling development last August, North Korean police launched a sweeping campaign to stamp out what they termed unsocial practices. This crackdown targeted individuals sporting hairstyles that hadn't received the state's seal of approval. According to reports from South Korea, the consequences were severe. Up to 7,000 people were arrested and imprisoned for the crime of sporting an unapproved hairdo. In North Korea, it seems that even an unapproved hairstyle can become a matter of national security. Number 8. North Korean women face restrictions in their career choices. In North Korea, the path to success for women is fraught with obstacles. Their opportunities for education and career advancement severely limited in a society that heavily favors men. From birth, women are often pigeonholed into roles centered around manual labor and child-rearing, with these expectations deeply ingrained in both societal norms and family values. The fields of science, engineering, and management remain largely closed to Korean women. This isn't an official decree from Kim Jong-un's government, but rather an unspoken rule woven into the fabric of North Korean society. Countless bright and talented young women have found themselves pressured by family or facing societal disapproval, leading many to abandon their educational pursuits prematurely. Number 9. North Korean girls are often forced into early marriages. A particularly distressing issue in North Korea is the prevalence of early marriage. Parents, driven by economic necessity, may arrange marriages for their daughters at any time, even while the girls are still in school, to secure a bride price. Once married, a young woman's future becomes even more uncertain, her dreams and ambitions often sacrificed on the altar of tradition. In North Korea, the concept of marriage takes on a surreal quality, blending ancient traditions with the iron grip of governmental control. For young women, the dream of a fairy tale wedding is often replaced by the harsh reality of arranged marriages, where parental decisions and family alliances trump personal desires. The wedding ceremony itself is a curious mix of family traditions and state-mandated rituals. Forget the bouquet toss. Newlyweds in North Korea are expected to pay their respects at the monument of the late leader Kim Il-sung, laying flowers at the feet of his statue as soon as their vows are exchanged. Wedding photos, rather than capturing intimate moments between the couple, are staged at these same monuments, a constant reminder of the state's omnipresence, even in the most personal of moments. The government's reach extends even to the timing of weddings. Couples are strictly forbidden from tying the knot on April 15th or February 16th, the birthdays of the late leaders Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. To do so would be seen as an unforgivable act of disrespect to the regime. Number 10. North Korean women are under pressure to have sons at all costs. In this deeply patriarchal society, the birth of a son is not just preferred, it's practically a requirement. The pressure on wives to bear male children is immense, with failure to do so often resulting in abuse, divorce, and social ostracism. The cruelty of this expectation is compounded by its scientific absurdity. While it's long been established that a child's sex is determined by the father's sperm, North Korean society places the entire burden on the woman. The Korean Population Agency estimates that up to 2 million North Korean women face regular abuse, with a third of these cases stemming from their inability to produce a male heir. Even more shocking is the government's tacit approval of this practice. Failure to bear a son is considered a valid reason for divorce in North Korea, leaving women not only emotionally scarred, but often destitute as they receive little to no property in divorce settlements. The cumulative effect of these societal pressures and governmental restrictions creates an almost unbearable environment for North Korean women. They are expected to shoulder financial burdens while navigating a labyrinth of official regulations and unspoken social rules. It's little wonder that women are statistically more likely than men to attempt the perilous journey of defecting from North Korea, risking everything for a chance at a life free from these oppressive expectations. Not only women, but nearly all North Korean citizens are subjected to bizarre laws and strict regulations imposed by the government. Here are some of the strange laws that the government has imposed on its people. No access to global web or Wi-Fi. North Korea has computers and the internet, but they only operate within the country's borders and do not connect to the outside world. The North Korean internet is known as Kwangmyong. All international websites are banned, and ordinary people without power are not allowed access to global web content. It is estimated that citizens can access approximately 1,000 to 5,500 internal websites. The country also lacks Wi-Fi. Mobile devices cannot access the Kwangmyong network, and Chinese-made tablets for North Korea do not include Wi-Fi or Bluetooth modules. North Koreans cannot bathe in hot water at home. There is no hot water supply in North Korean homes, so residents usually visit public baths. Additionally, there is no central heating system in homes during the winter, and people have to burn firewood to stay warm. No Coca-Cola in stores. Before 2015, there were only 2 countries in the world where Coca-Cola was banned: Cuba and North Korea. When this beverage was eventually allowed in Cuba, North Korea remained the only country in the world without Coca-Cola. No international travel. North Korean citizens cannot purchase international plane tickets and travel abroad for vacations. This restriction is not due to high costs, but because it is prohibited. Furthermore, travel within the country is also restricted. To visit relatives in another town or village, you must obtain permission. However, some North Koreans can still travel to China or Russia for trade purposes. Foreigners are not allowed to take photos or even talk to locals without permission. A local resident will not be imprisoned or executed for talking to a foreigner. However, if you try to converse with someone or take photos of people, they may flee. Tourists are also prohibited from taking photos of anything around them. Guides will prevent you from photographing anything, especially military-related objects. Foreigners cannot use North Korean currency. Instead, they must use foreign currencies, such as the euro or US dollar, for transactions in the country. Only 4 TV channels. Television in North Korea is heavily restricted. Residents and tourists cannot freely watch a variety of TV channels. In theory, people could watch South Korean channels, but no one wants to risk trouble with the authorities by attempting to view South Korean TV. You can only enter North Korea from 2 countries. Visitors to North Korea can only enter from Russia or China. These are the countries where you can obtain a North Korean visa. Some cities in China have flights to North Korea, but the fastest route is from Beijing. In Russia, flights are available only from Vladivostok, a rather remote city. Additionally, for those who want to enjoy the scenic views along the way, traveling by train from Beijing is an option. That's all the information we wanted to bring you in today's video. What do you think about the North Korean government? Share your thoughts in the comments below this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to catch the next videos from Billionaire and President Mysteries.